What's going on, my dudes? So Solasta 2 is finally out in early access, and the big question on everyone's mind is what am I actually getting for that $40 price tag? This follow-up to the cult classic Crown of the Magister is promising a bigger, better, and more faithful Dungeons & Dragons experience, completely rebuilt in a new game engine. But as we all know, early access can be a roll of the dice, anything from a nearly finished game to basically a paid tech demo. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything the current build has to offer to help you decide if it's worth your money today or if you should probably wait for more content patches or maybe even the full release. First things first, let's talk about what the $39.99 actually gets you. Right out of the box, you're getting the entire first act of the game, which developers say should take between 10 to 15 hours. For now, your party's progression is capped at level 4, and that might sound low to some of you, but it's a sweet spot in D&D where classes really start coming into their own. You'll be building your custom party of 4 from scratch, picking from 4 ancestries, human, elf, dwarf, and halfling, and 6 of the 12 planned classes. The early access launch lineup includes the fighter, rogue, paladin, cleric, wizard, and sorcerer. And with their included subclasses, that's 13 unique archetypes to mess around with. The game world has also had a nice upgrade with a new hex-based map dotted with random encounters and hidden spots to uncover. And maybe most importantly, the price is lower during early access as a thank you to early supporters. The plan, which is typical of any early access project, is to charge more for the full 1.0 launch, which is still at least a year out. If you played the first Solasta, you already know that combat is the main event. It's the heart and soul of the series, and I'm happy to report that Solasta 2 not only keeps that spirit alive, but seriously refines it. The team at Tactical Adventures are D&D purists, and it absolutely shows in their work. While other CRPGs like Baldur's Gate 3 take a more D&D inspired approach and attempt to smooth things out for players, Solasta 2 doubles down on being the most authentic tabletop experience that you can get digitally. The biggest game changer is the switch from the old D&D 5th edition rules to the updated 2024 revision. This is more than a fresh coat of paint as it completely shakes up the tactical depth, especially for martial classes. The new weapon mastery system is a perfect example, giving weapons unique moves like topple, sap, or cleave. It makes choosing a longsword over a mace a real tactical decision that can control the flow of a fight, not just a different damage die. Even at this early stage, the combat feels incredibly solid. The series' signature verticality is back and better than ever thanks to the jump to Unreal Engine 5. Environments are way more detailed and layered, forcing you to think in 3 dimensions. Pushing dudes off ledges, ducking behind pillars, and fighting for the high ground aren't just fun options, they are essential for survival, especially on the higher difficulty. If you're the kind of D&D player who loves tactical combat, perfect positioning, and using rules as written to your advantage, this combat system was tailor-made for you. Now, as is tradition in Solasta, you aren't just making a main character, you're building the whole party. The story this time around is focused on a family of orphans, and you get to craft all 4 of them. The character creator has some serious depth, giving you full control over your party's stats, skills, and backgrounds. Even if the visual options feel a little basic at the moment, you can still create some impressive looking characters. And if you don't want to get into all that nitty gritty, there is a auto-generate option as well as some pre-made characters that you can pick from. The 6 starting classes give you all the tools for a classic D&D party. You've got your frontliners with the fighter and paladin, your skill monkey rogue, and your big time spellcasters with the cleric, wizard, and sorcerer. But the real star of the show, and a huge show of confidence for early access, is that multi-classing is included in this package from day one. This is a huge deal as multi-classing lets you dip into different classes as you level up to create wild and powerful builds, if you know what you're doing. You want a fighter who can sling a few utility spells? Go for it. How about a rogue who grabs a level of fighter for better armor and that sweet, sweet action surge? It's a classic for a reason, and you can build it right now in early access. But be warned, the system is just as strict as the tabletop version. You will need a 13 in the main stats of both classes you're combining, so you have to plan your builds from level 1. The level 4 cap in early access limits you to simple splits for now, but it adds a ton of replayability to the current build. The first Solasta was often criticized for having a pretty bare-bones story and a budget feel. Solasta 2 is clearly aiming much, much higher. The jump from Unity to Unreal Engine 5 gives it a massive visual glow-up. The city of Kaer Mar and the jungles around it feel richer and more alive. Character models are more detailed, and while some animations are still a bit stiff, the whole presentation is just leagues ahead of the first game. The story also kicks off with a lot more punch this time around. Your party of orphans gets tangled up in a conspiracy on the continent of Neokos, bound by their past to face down a mysterious threat. It's all very personal from the very beginning. The voice acting also does a lot of heavy lifting here and is noticeably much, much better, with fantastic performers like Amelia Tyler, who you'll know as the narrator from Baldur's Gate 3, and Ben Starr joining the cast.
I tried. I did everything you asked of me. Why did you take her from me?
Honor the covenant.
Shadwin was right. You are the betrayer. And you have betrayed me!
But we do have to set our expectations correctly. Solasta 2 is being made by a team of 40 people, not the 400 plus that worked on Baldur's Gate 3. This isn't a game that's trying to deliver an epic cinematic story with deep romance plots. That's not to say those things aren't there, but instead that it's focused on the adventure of the party you created. The dialogue feels more like a group conversation with different party members chiming in depending on their assigned personality roles you gave them, which really sells the feeling that you're guiding a team and not just one hero with some quiet followers. First, we'll go over the good because there's a lot of it. The faithful and polished use of the D&D rule set is a massive win for tabletop fans. The tactical combat is tough, rewarding, and feels just right. And including multi-classing in this early access package is a brilliant move that shows the devs are serious about deep character building. The UE5 upgrade provides a much-needed visual facelift, and the lower early access price is a great incentive to buy in now. The bad is, well, pretty much what you'd expect from any early access title. You're going to hit bugs, performance stutters, and some general jank. I had some weird camera issues and saw characters get stuck on scenery or clip through objects, among a few other minor visual issues and bugs like that, but nothing that couldn't be fixed from reloading and nothing that was absolutely game breaking. The level 4 cap also feels pretty restrictive. You'll hit it long before you finish the content that's available in this package, and key features are still on the way. The roadmap confirms online co-op, crafting, and a faction system are all coming. So if you're here for multiplayer, you'll be waiting until at least the third quarter of 2026. And while you're waiting, if you're finding this breakdown helpful and you want to follow Solasta 2's journey with me, consider hitting that subscribe button. I'll be covering major patches and updates right here as they come out. This is really the most important question. In its current state, Solasta 2 is definitely not for everyone. This game is for the D&D purist. It's for the player who thought Baldur's Gate 3 was an amazing RPG, but not quite a D&D simulator. It's for the tactician who loves spending an hour planning their next 3 level ups, and if you loved the first Solasta, buying this is frankly a no-brainer. It's better in almost every single way. This game is probably not for you if you're just looking for the next Baldur's Gate 3, especially in terms of cinematic story and companion romance. Solasta 2 is all about its systems, not its story. That's not to say the story isn't there for those who want it, it's just not the primary focus as you would see in something like Baldur's Gate 3. It's also not for players who get easily frustrated by the bugs and unfinished state of an early access game. So if you've bought an early access prior and minor bugs and stuff like that frustrate you, you probably want to steer clear of this for now. So the $40 question remains. Is Solasta 2 worth it today? My verdict is a conditional buy. Buy it now if you're a fan of the first game, a lover of deep tactical RPGs, you know what you're getting into with early access and you want to support the developers while locking in that discount, and or you're a D&D rules as written fanatic. For that crowd, the 15 hours of solid content and deep character building are more than enough to justify the current price. You should wait if you're mainly here for a co-op multiplayer, you'd rather have a polished bug-free experience from the start, or that the level 4 cap just feels too limited. The game is only going to get bigger and better, so there's absolutely no shame in waiting for the 1.0 release to get the full experience. This is the safest bet for most people. Skip it altogether if you care more about cinematic storytelling, character romances, or if the thought of dealing with early access jank makes you want to tear your hair out. There are other games out there that will definitely scratch that itch way better. From what I've experienced, Solasta 2's early access launch is a confident and incredibly promising start. It knows exactly what it wants to be, a deep, tactical, and truly authentic D&D adventure that puts its gameplay mechanics front and center. The foundation here is rock solid, the improvements over the original are huge, and the roadmap looks very promising. But I want to know what you all think. Have you already jumped into Neokos, or are you waiting for a few more updates? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Also remember to like the video if you liked the video, dislike it if you didn't, and subscribe either way. And if you want to support the channel further, hype the video and share it with a friend who might be interested. Doing all that YouTube jazz helps me out tremendously and further pushes the channel into the Shodan-like algorithm. But regardless of any of that, truly thank you so much for watching until the very end and have a Coolaroonie day.
Coolaroonie.